beauty and light of God. Accepting right here, right now. This is all that exists. Beauty and light. Beauty and light in everything that is of creation. Beauty and light in every being. Beauty and light in all divine expressions. To accept this beauty and light, to accept it within your heart, is to question, what is it that you think you see? What is it that you conjure up in your mind that gives you a perception that says, no, that's not true. I believe in something different. I believe in differences. I believe in wrong and right. I believe light and dark. And I believe that behavior is real, not just an expression of fear. I believe the past. And in that upside down way, the identity says, I bet my life on it. I bet the farm that I'm right. And all the while, love is whispering, don't make that foolish bet. You'll just spin yourself in circles for the next 100 lifetimes. All with the adamant acceptance that you're right. Happiness begins to bubble in the heart, actually in the acceptance that you were mistaken, and that you're willing to drop the past, drop what you think you know, and accept that only love exists, and that love is truly joy, harmony and peace, charity, generosity, wholeness and oneness. The happy heart lives in gratitude that all of the past was not real, was not true. The happy acceptance of a divine life. The happy acceptance of a life that is so beyond comprehension that the little mind that made up the story of separation can in no way have a concept of that exquisite life. truly beyond your wildest dreams. And yet, true, real, authentic, eternal, all-inclusive, missing nothing. In this moment, there is this holy opportunity to remember and to truly surrender. In the world of the illusion, there is no possibility of surrender. Only in the yes to love does surrender exist. To surrender into the truth that there is no conflict. What conflicts do you believe in? What conflicts do you engage with? What conflicts do you give your loyalty to? This is always the question. And the moment by moment surrender of these erroneous conflicts. And that you would truly rather be happy than right. About the belief that conflicts are real. It is truly a divine choice. And that choice is always there until choice is no longer needed, because all is remembered. Every moment you can choose peace. Every moment you can choose harmony and joy. Not understanding it, not agreeing in the ego way, but laying down the concepts of conflict and beginning again. Every beloved who has heard the ancient call to remember is immediately in the service of love. And that through every relationship that seems to be separate within the world is the divine schoolroom of learning. Learning to love. Learning to open the heart. Learning to surrender all defenses, all hesitations, to have the heart open, available and radiating love, gladly, happily, joyously, offering love, offering innocence, offering the truth of light, offering gratitude, offering blessings. And in that divine choice, the light begins to dawn. And the darkness that was so believed in begins to recede and fade away. All in the miracle of choice. Moment by moment, the tender journey of love's remembering. And each moment within that surrender is the call to breathe. The call to breathe deeply and fully with intention of the divine communion with God, with every breath, consciously saying yes, yes to love, yes to light, yes to peace. Yes is the invitation to healing. The willingness to allow transformation to have its way. And breathing deeply and fully, the willingness to breathe into the heart. Consciously inviting and finding the willingness to let the heart come forward, open and undefended. And as the heart is brought forward, love can radiate through the heart. The willingness to surrender into the hands of God all of the barriers of the past that have been made and pulled around the heart in the belief of wanting to defend and protect. And now, in a moment of sanity, remembering, oh, there's nothing to defend against. Only love is real. The rest I'm made up. The rest was my delusion of separation. The willingness to surrender the belief in nightmares. The willingness to come home. And as you continue to breathe deeply and fully, bringing sacred breath into the emotional body and willing to surrender all reactions that come through the emotional body of caution, suspicions, fears of all kinds being surrendered. And acknowledging that these fears have come from the mind and been generated through the emotional body to prove being right and to be used as a defense, to stay in separation, but no longer being willing to accept these lies. Surrender them now and breathe sacred breath, surrendering the emotional body into the hands of God to be filled as the light, as all the perception of darkness trickles away. Light is revealed. The light of harmony and joy. wanting only to express blessings, wanting only to have all the energy bodies filled with only light in its natural state, and then moving easily and effortlessly in this temporary world with light in the center, radiating in all directions, blessing and comforting. And breathing and allowing. And affirming in this moment as you continue to breathe consciously, fully, that there is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. And within this life force we live and move and breathe as one. The willingness to return to holy union where no one is excluded. The willingness to return to holy union where there are no differences and no conflicts. And breathing and affirming that here in the infinite circle of love we are one. One heart in dedication and devotion to that service of love. Surrendering all beliefs of trying to get, trying to win. Surrendering. Surrendering and affirming this universe is all love. This sanctuary is all love. Nothing else exists. There's nothing else to perceive. Putting all perceptions aside and sinking deeply into the light of love, resting in God, with God, and as God. And breathing and allowing. There's only one heart and one breath. And affirming forevermore, for all eternity, today I will make no decisions on my own. Today, all decisions will come from the divine that is accessible in my willingness. Surrendering and allowing. Allow this prayer to pierce your heart, to take your heart, and to transform your mind out of its split completely into the hands of God. The Divine Mother, the aspect of the Divine Feminine of God that we have identified, for lack of a better way, as the Divine Mother, not realizing the all-encompassing power of that divine vibration. And this divine being, this divine feminine, is equally in everyone. This is not a woman's trait. This is the divine light of God, in the vibration of the Divine Feminine that is not limited to the female, but encompassed in all creation, every leaf, every insect, every movement of wind, every star, every aspect of creation lives within the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. Love in all its glory, not meant to be separated into identity, but accepted in the wholeness of one heart. An aspect of the Divine Mother is called the Queen of the Forest. The Queen of the Forest, the Queen of the Earth, that moves in brilliance with the King of creation, all as one. Rainha da floresta, I will follow where you lead. I am going where you lead me, I will go. Rainha da floresta, I will follow where you lead. I am going where you lead me, I will go. Rainha da floresta, I am going where you lead. I am going where you lead me, I will go. Rainha da floresta, I love you so. I am going to my mother to be healed. She takes me in her arms, and to her I must go. Rainha da floresta, I am going where you lead. I am going to my father to be healed. I am going in the truth and to be real. I am going to my father, and it's true. Oh, my mother, lead me home. It's now up to you. Oh, my mother, I am coming to you, Father, let me be. I am coming to my mother, in my mother, let me be. I am going to be healed in the heart of love. I am going into love. Rainha da floresta is calling us home. Come, my brothers, come, my sisters, come with me, let's go. This divine calling calls you to take every hand of every beloved and walk with them. No one walks alone into the light of God. No one can walk alone into the light of God. Every beloved must come with you. Every beloved must be embraced, or you will not remember the truth of oneness. No one can be left out. It's not possible to come home without all beloveds coming with you. And that truly means forgiveness. The forgiveness of all false identities that you've given to everyone. Every time you've made an identity and given it to someone, you have stopped the journey of love. because that impediment is in your way. That false identity is a wall that you've put up, closed the door, and said, no, I believe in these illusions rather than the truth of love. Every moment, the opportunity to come, my brothers, come, my sister, come with me, let's go. All beloveds returning to love. No differences, no exclusions, no preferences, no identities that can hold in the light. All made up, willing to surrender time, willing to surrender the belief of difficulties of all kinds, willing to surrender the belief of progress, surrendering it all into love. I have cried a lot in the past, and I have regretted. I leave now everything that I have been yearning for in this world. I let go of all the lamenting that I have spent all my time on. And I leave everything behind, and I am going to go and live among the flowers. I'm going to go and live among the flowers with my Blessed Mother. The fears that appear, the sadness that appear, the depression that appears, the anger that appears, the irritations that appear are a great rebellion against God, the refusal of love. Let's all, my brothers and sisters, sing with love together in holy union with God, the Blessed Mother, dispelling all of these fears, asking for the help, asking for the transformation, and willing to let go. I'm the child of the Blessed Mother. I'm the daughter, the son of the Queen. I accept this light, and I recognize this power. I call the force of love. I call the force of love to illuminate and open my heart. I'm ready. I'm willing. And I say yes. Choro muito e lamento tudo que já se passou. Deixo tudo saudosamente, vou viver no meio das flores. Vou viver no meio das flores, junto com a Virgem Maria. Os terrores que aparecem, essa grande rebeldia. Vamos todos, meus irmãos, vamos cantar com amor, para Deus e a Virgem Mãe nos defender desses terrores. Sou filho da Virgem Mãe, reconhece este poder. Chama a força, Ele chama a força para vir nos defender. It is a blessed, blessed day. It is a blessed, blessed moment to recognize that all the fear that has been made up in all of its aspects, in all of its expressions, which includes everything that is not love, all hatred, all belief in conflict, all belief in strategies, all belief in scarcity, all belief in lack of any kind, It's all a rebellion that says no to love. It's all the way that the ego uses to stay in control, even though the control will mean misery. That's how insane the ego is. The ego would rather be miserable and right than to surrender and let go and come home to peace. But in this lifetime, as in every lifetime, is the opportunity to finally refuse, to finally say no more. No more will I allow this rebellion to have its way. I'm not a victim of the world that I see, and I am not a victim of the world that is within. I am the light of God, and I will accept my rightful place in the light of God and as the light of God. And I will accept transformation because it's God's will for me to return home and remember. Falling on a soft mat. More attentive than any lover or any parent is God to us. But our gauge of judgment is impaired by the world's values that we've made up. And our bodies are often the dominance over our spirit realm. And we give the power to the body rather than to the spirit. A young child first learning to walk and very likely to fall may be allowed to do so by a wise guardian or teacher. If there is a soft mat beneath its body that will cushion it from harm, trusting that everything can be used for love. There is a soft rug you can place around others. It is the soft rug of forgiveness, and it is charity. That is the offering of help to every beloved. Forgiveness and charity. In the world, we are all still learning to walk and to fly in ways that beloveds can help each other. And everyone is in kinship. Everyone is the divine family. There is no separate family that has been made in the name of genetics. There is no separate family that has been made in the name of a body identification. There is the Holy Family. The Holy Family of love. Where you begin to realize you can never meet a stranger. You are meeting yourself. You are meeting the light of God. You don't need a name. You don't need an identification for them. Their identification is love. Their identification is perfection, is light. When you walk in the world and you believe that you have known what love is, and you have made up a story about a separate life made with different beloveds, it's hard to sometimes accept, but accept you must, that God is more attentive than any lover or parent could ever begin to be. There is no end to the attentiveness. God is with you constantly, never away, never separate, because God is you. And that truth of love that you turn away from by choice because you think you know something, you are missing out on this divine attentiveness, this divine communion, this divine perfect vibration of communion, of complete communion with the truth of who you are. But our gauge of judgment is impaired by the world's values. The values that you have given to the world impair your ability, and it must be seen for what it is. That the value that you have given to the world, that you think you see, that you perceive, has to be surrendered because it's in the way. It's been your defense system that you made to say, I am separate. When you decide you no longer want to be impaired by the values that you have given to your separate world, that you think you know, you will begin to meet God. You will begin to open to that holy communion, that divine oneness. You will go into the closet with God and meet yourself. Learn of who you really are, opening to the divine spirit that you are, rather than the body identification of separation. In this world, we let our bodies dominate over our spirit realm. And in that upside downness, the belief of aloneness is always present. It's just a belief. It's not true. But when you believe it, it becomes true for you. And it brings you to a place of great sadness because you believe your own mind. Because you believe in separation by your own evidence that you're constantly affirming. All day long, the Holy Spirit is whispering to you to come into quiet, to come into the heart and rest with God and in God, and let go of what you thought you knew. It's very simple. A young child first learning to walk and very likely to fall may be allowed to do so by a wise guardian or teacher. The wise guardian or teacher lets the beloved fall because, and may let them fall because sometimes the resistance to love is so entrenched that nothing will convince until the pain of separation comes to the surface and gets recognized for what it is. That's the fall. The fall doesn't really hurt and it doesn't damage. It just allows the shake-up, the I know, to be cracked, to go very, very slowly and listen to the voice of God as you walk in the world, and that each day is there to serve love and to resist the temptation of what about me? What am I going to get today? Instead of how can I offer love today? How can I serve love today? How can I bless today? How can I comfort today? Not with my doing, but with my open heart. That is the question. We are all learning to walk and to fly. And everyone is there to help each other and to call on the power of God to transform whatever thoughts come up of impatience, of distrust, of scarcity, of the belief that there is something to control and that there is a danger in the world that you have given your allegiance to, but that you're no longer willing to give your allegiance to something that has been made up. That you're willing to fly with the light of truth. We are all still learning to walk and to fly, and for everyone to help each other, and everything that I am related to, because there is only one. Only one. There is a soft rug you can place around others. It is forgiveness and charity. Forgiveness can fill your day with joy. Forgiveness can set you free. The forgiveness that you are willing to surrender and forgive all the mistaken concepts and identities that you've made in the world that have no reality. Every beloved from the past is waiting for you to quench the thirst of their soul in forgiveness. And as you offer that quenching, that nourishment of light to every beloved, your heart is healed. That is how healing occurs. Through your willingness to offer forgiveness, to really refuse anymore to hold identifications of anyone, and to forgive yourself for every identification that you took on as a concept of a separate self. It doesn't matter what and how it expressed itself. Whether one minute it was arrogant and blowing up in a puffy place of saying, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I know everything. I'm the top of my game. That pain is being called to be forgiven. Or on the other side of the coin of I'm worthless, I'm helpless, I'm a victim, I've been injured, I've been put upon, I've been deceived, I've been betrayed. All of those false identities surrendered and forgiven as false, and not being able to stand to the light. Completely false. Surrendered into the hands of God and wanting transformation, wanting it deeply, willing to fall on a soft mat, trusting that you will be caught in the arms of love as your suffering world falls apart, because it must fall apart. It cannot be held together and make a different choice. It must fall apart. And to be extremely happy that it's falling apart because it's brought you nothing but misery. And to be really honest in your heart that all the while the body has been dominant over the spirit realm, and you have given your loyalty to something that does not even exist, that will fall away in time because it's made of smoke and mirrors. It will not last. But your divine spirit, the divine light of which you are not familiar, is waiting to be accepted, embraced, and let out of its cage that you made in the belief of fear and control. Meet your spirit. Welcome your spirit, which is the spirit of all creation. Not separate. There's one soul, one spirit. But that divine spirit has the power to dance in the entire universe and with the entire universe because it is the entire universe. The little mind that made a separate identity of a body and a little life cannot conceptualize the vastness, the beauty, the power, the light, the love that you truly are. It has to be accepted on faith and accepted in your everyday life and lived in your everyday life. These are not concepts of theory. These are to be lived. And how are they lived? They are lived in your offering of love, blessings, and innocence of every beloved, of refusing the fears that enter your mind, of refusing the habits of the past that tell you that sadness is regular. There is no sadness in God, and there is no sadness in you. If you are sad, it is because you believe in the capriciousness of the ego, and you have given faith to that identity, and you believe in scarcity. You believe in lack. It is never God's will for you to suffer. There is no suffering in God. But it's really to embrace this divine choice that you have. Because in the everyday life, it looks like you're just choosing what you like. You're just choosing what you're familiar with. You're just choosing yes, no, all day long, making up stories, making up decisions that are not what will be most helpful. What will serve love's remembering? I don't know. I don't know. I must step back and let love lead to discover the attentiveness of God, to discover the presence of God, to discover the light of God that is everywhere, everything, never someplace else, always, everywhere. Truth will correct all errors that have been in your mind. When you hold that there is only one love and one light, that truth will correct your mind. It will not be able to stand that light. The lie will not be able to stand the light and will correct your mind. I cannot be hurt. That truth will correct all errors of your mind. I walk with God in perfect holiness. I am the blessing and the light of God. This truth will correct all errors in your mind. And the more that you allow these truths to be completely familiar to you, completely singing all day long, you won't have any room for your thoughts that mean nothing. You won't have any, there won't be any space for made-up thoughts that cause pain and suffering. It's not about the fear of these untrue thoughts. They're just untrue. They're lies, and they do lead to pain. They do lead to the belief of suffering because they agree with suffering. They agree with pain. They're made of pain. That's their purpose. And in the past, you believed in pain. You believed suffering was normal. There's no truth in that. And this is a deep acceptance. A deep acceptance. What if you prayed and your prayer was, let every voice but God's be still in me. Let every voice but God's be still in me. I don't want to hear anything except the voice of God. That's the choice. There's a door of choice of your heart that has a choice of what you listen to, of what you believe in, of what you give your attention to. And all day long, that choice has to be consciously brought until that tipping point comes, when you are no longer listening and believing your own thoughts and your own mind. There will come a day, there will be a tipping point in your divine practice where you will no longer believe in the lies of pain and suffering. You will recognize it for what it is, and you will not even be interested. And with that tipping point comes healing's quickness. Then healing comes at a light speed because there's no conflict anymore. There's no perceived battle anymore. There's no split of allegiance. Because while you're believing in your mind and what you think you know, you have an allegiance to it. And you are feeding it with your everyday concepts, judgments, opinions, assessments, all day long, feeding the lies. So it is really essential to discontinue that relationship. It is the ultimate codependent relationship. It is what codependency is based on. You believe that that identity gives you something. You believe that that identity provides a defense for you. But all that it does is hold you in separation. It has no value in it, and it is not your friend. Its only purpose is to stay separate. In the belief you aren't really separate, but while you believe that you are separate, that's what you experience. And the tipping point is when you no longer believe in the lies of your made-up story. of your made-up decisions, of your made-up thoughts, of your made-up expressions, of your made-up assessments, of your made-up experiences and your made-up reactions. It's a happy day. When you're no longer willing to pledge your allegiance to pain and suffering. When you accept that your meaningless thoughts keep showing you a meaningless world, this is a deep acceptance. And somewhere you have to make the connection between the cause and effect of pain and suffering to these meaningless thoughts. That all the meaningless thoughts are the cause of the pain and the suffering. They're not, the pain and suffering is not coming from a cause that's outside you. The pain and the suffering is caused by your meaningless thoughts. Meaningless meaning they have no meaning. They're made up. They're based on separation. They're based on conflict. They're based on the belief that you are not the light of God. And they are completely meaningless, yes, because the ego has the capability of making an entire perceived life. It is a journey of remembering that this is not who you are. This is not the truth of who you are. And to accept in your deep heart that you are the light of God. And that there are no lies in God. The only lies that exist are in the separate identity, which is all lies. There are no lies in God. Just that would shake your life up and say, oh, well, why am I wasting time with these lies? When there are no lies in God. If I don't like lies, if I'm afraid of being betrayed, where would I be betrayed? Only in my own mind. Only in my own lies that I make up about what I think I know. There's no betrayal in God. There's no betrayal in love. Take a stand against all anger so that fear can disappear and offer room for love. Take a stand against all anger. Every element that comes up, and anger is fear. Anger wants to be justified. It's the belief that you can be deprived. But only you can deprive yourself of anything by saying no to God. Take a stand against all anger. Not by fighting with it, but just turning away from it. It has no purpose. It has no reality. It has no truth. And remembering that anger includes all irritation, includes all fears of something that is outside you, of not getting your way, instead of thy will be done. Thy will be done. Show me the way. Show me the way to love so that I'm not in suffering any longer. It isn't your will for me to suffer. I say yes to love. Take a stand against all anger so that fear can disappear, and that room for love is made when the fear and the anger are refused. You're making room for the love that you are. You're making room for the love to express itself. You're making room in all of your energy bodies for the light to shine by making a stand against it, refusing it. Not out of anger. You don't use anger to take a stand against anger. But a firmness, which is love, that says no more. And that if you forget, you forgive quickly, fully, and come back again. And you don't waste time on lamenting and guilt and shame and identities, that all that those identities do is to keep reinforcing and holding you in a place where you are distracted from your true purpose. Your true purpose is to return home into the hands of God, where you truly exist. It's not a new place. It's not a place that you've never been to, you've just forgotten. But you are returning home to where you truly belong, as the light of God, the peace of God, the ease of God. How can you let go of this world that you've made up? Only with help. Only with calling for help and calling on the power of love of the truth, and wanting the masters and guides to direct you constantly. And to recognize, I see all things as I would have them be. I am making the choices. If I see conflict, it is because I believe in conflict. If I see disruption, it's because I believe in disruption. If I see betrayal, it is because I believe in betrayal and I believe in betraying myself. From the truth of love, I see all things as I would have them be. And that is why the outside perception is your opportunity to see what you believe in. That's all that it's showing you. It's not showing you an attack. It's showing you what you believe in. When you see a world that is of difficulty and battle, it's because you believe in difficulty and battle. When you no longer believe in difficulty and battle, and the belief that you have to control the difficulty in the battle, which is futile, because all you're doing is trying to control an illusion that's coming from your mind. That would be like putting a tourniquet around your head and trying to squeeze the thoughts out. You're not going to squeeze the thoughts out with a tourniquet around your head. You're going to refuse to give them space and give your mind back to God, where it belongs. Not filled with spinnings of made-up stuff. Imagine that you're walking in the world with a tourniquet around your head. And somebody says, why do you have that tourniquet? I'm squeezing. I don't want those thoughts. It's that insane. And that's just as insane as looking outside and saying, oh, that's happening out there. Instead of, those are just my thoughts. Projected out, showing me what I believe in. And now I can see what it is I believe in. So now I have a choice to let that go, because that's not the light of God. If I'm seeing beloveds as different identities, I'm not seeing the light of God. I'm seeing what I believe in, what I have developed as a separate self. And it's not true. There's no reality there. Light is waiting to be met but you're not seeing the light because you're seeing what you think you know. Do not fear to look within. Do not fear to look within at what you made. It's only by looking within and seeing what it is that you're believing in that it can be healed. If you try to avoid and keep denying that you're making up what you believe in, there can't be any healing because your focus is incorrect. Don't be afraid to look at what you're making and what you're believing about within you. How you've held yourself. What strange identities you've given to yourself. All the greed that you've carried, all the resentment that you've carried, all the suspicions that you've carried, the vengeance that you've carried. Everybody's carried the same thing. This is not original. But it has to be recognized for what it is and be surrendered. If you protect it and defend it as being right, you can't heal. Because you can't see what it is you've made up. And then you can't let it go. You can't surrender it. And because you made it, you're the only one that can actually surrender it. No one can take it from you. God can't reach in and take out what you are trying to protect. It is not a tug of war. It is not a kidnapping. It is not a deprogramming without your consent. You will not be kidnapped by God against your will. Your will has to be, let me expose what I made up so that it can be let go, so that I can let this go and be free. And see where the pain and the suffering came from. It came from the belief that you were separate from God. And it wasn't true. I was shown in healing that I never had an original thought in the world. That nothing I had ever thought by myself, what looked like to be on my own, had any originality in it. I had never had any hatred that was original. I had never had any self-loathing that was original. I had never had any lamenting that was original. I had never had any pain that was original. I had never had any suffering that was original. I had had nothing. I didn't have any greed that was original. I didn't have any manipulation that was original. It was all exactly the same that all of humanity carried. And why was this so essential to recognize? Because the ego wants to make you special even in your self-loathing. Oh no, mine's bigger, mine's better, mine's more intense, mine's deeper, mine's longer. This can't be healed. I'm a mess. Or, no, I can't look, I'm not a mess. I'm perfect. It's all made up. It's all made up and it's nothing original. There's no reason to try to hide it from someone else as if you're not carrying exactly all the same beliefs of separation that everybody else is carrying. It's not original. Don't hide in the shadows trying to present a better picture, to hide your fears of what might be lurking inside. It's like, come naked. Come naked. Show it all. Not demonstrate it all, just open the doorway to it all so that all the light can shine in and it will disappear because you have stopped giving it your value. You're the only one who is valuing your belief of separation. You have given it value by embracing and trying to protect, defend, and uplift an identity that has no truth in it. That's all made up with smoke and mirrors, that has no reality. How can you improve on the light of God? What could you possibly be trying to make in the world to prove your worth that can touch the exquisite light and perfection that you truly are? You would give away or trade being the light of God, the perfection, the innocence, the all-knowing of the universe, the divine knowledge, the wisdom of creation, the power of all creation. You would trade that for your little identity that's filled with the belief that you were wrongly treated, that's filled with the belief that you were gypped, that comes from a world that's based on scarcity, that is afraid to show the greed that you've had in the past, that's afraid to show that you believe in betrayal and that you perceive it everywhere, that you perceive that you can be hurt and damaged when you are the light of God that is eternally unchangeable. But when you identify with the body and your separate self, and the body is the symbol of being a separate self, when you give that identity your allegiance and you don't embrace your divine spirit, that's where all the suffering is. That's where that feeling of aloneness, that feeling of loneliness, that feeling of separation that everybody experiences in the belief of being a body, instead of joining in this holy union of love, this spirit, and letting God take you there. As you let go of what you think you know. It's a worthy journey, because it is the only journey that has any reality. There is no reality in anything else. Truly not. Why spend time worshiping and valuing a separate identity that when the body falls away, that identity goes with it? Well, she was great while she was alive. Who is this beloved being? And where do we believe this beloved being went? Nowhere. What do you think you know? There's nowhere to go. All life continues in its divine splendor. But if you're in your mind thinking you know that you're a body and that you are your identity, and you try to protect your identity and your secret life, your secret thoughts of vengeance, of criticism, of judgment, of assessments, of likes and dislikes, the belief of differences, all of that, you try to protect that, and you suffer. That's all that's happening, is that you continue to suffer instead of taking that leap. I must love. I'm here to love. Oh, my Blessed Mother, I will follow. I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Oh, my Blessed Mother, I love you so. You take me in your arms, and to you I must go. I will follow. I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. I want to come home. And I want this separate identity to disappear into the universe. Disappear because it never really existed. And to truly come home to love. There's a relationship with gratitude which is so essential in the journey of love, because gratitude leads to God and to love itself. Gratitude is the power of love that you have access to in every moment, that you are so grateful that what you think you know is not accurate. So grateful that you are not a body. So grateful that you are the divine Spirit of God. So grateful that every divine teaching is always offered and given to you and always shows up. Everything that you need always shows up. So grateful. That great gratitude opens your heart. So grateful to have every beloved in your life that's there as a teacher for you to learn from. That each beloved that you perceive to be outside you is there to show you and teach you what your beliefs are. So grateful. In gratitude to God, it becomes the way in which God is remembered. Gratitude to God for every moment, for every beloved. Gratitude to God because God is providing every situation and every beloved in your life for you to remember. Every beloved. In which he is remembered, for love cannot be far behind a grateful heart and a thankful mind. A grateful heart and a thankful mind for the opportunity of every day, instead of, I don't want it this way, I want it like this, I want it to be different, I have another idea. That is where all the pain is, instead of what is here for me to learn in this moment. Am I willing to be the happy learner? To be grateful for the learning of this day. Do I ask myself when I go to sleep at night, what have I learned today? What was my opportunity of learning today? And am I grateful for that opportunity to learn? Did I learn to love today? Did I learn to forgive today? Did I learn to see today with an open heart, with a grateful heart? That is my choice. That is where I put my allegiance and my focus. Today is the day of learning. Today is the day of falling on a soft mat. A soft mat that holds me as I learn. As I learn to let go. As I learn that God will always be there to catch me and to show me the way. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to let go of what I thought I knew so that I can learn. You can't learn when you think you know. It's not possible. Make room. Let go of what you think you know so that you can learn, so that the Holy Spirit can show you, can lead you in every moment. There was a beloved today who said, are there signs of love? And I said, all day long. Are you available? Are you available for the signs of love all day long and don't think you know what they're supposed to look like? The sign of love can be when you drop something on the floor and it breaks. Oh, opportunity to love. This is a message of love. This was given to me in order for me to be able to learn in this moment to love. Or I can take it and make something else out of it that I think I know. All day long, the learning of love. How can I serve? Show me the way. I'm here only to be truly helpful and to learn. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do because love will direct me. Am I open in every moment to the messages of love that are available? Am I listening? Am I resting in God and listening? And trusting? I won't be left without. It's not possible. I'm the light of God. I'm here to remember. I'm here to learn until all of love is embraced. And as love is all embraced, everything that was made up falls away. Easy peasy. I will follow where you lead me, I will go. With humility and in trusting the truth of grace, I follow. I'm going to go live among the flowers with my Blessed Mother because that's where I belong. When I'm out of my mind and my knowing, I'm living among the flowers. When I give up what I think I know, I can live among the flowers. I can rest. I can trust. I can offer love.